Alright, we're going to look at how to take advantage of Logic Pro's Flex Time feature. Now, I took a sample from our Hits and Stabs Volume 1 library and imported it into an arrangement I'm working on. And here's a preview of the beat I was able to create after manipulating this sample. Now, we'll say that this is a hypothetical example, but let's pretend that all we had was the WAV file for this sample and no Apple Loop or AIFF file. What I would want to do is make this sample conform to 75 beats per minute, which is the master tempo of my arrangement, even though it was recorded at 80 beats per minute, and I can do that using Flex Time. Now, to activate Flex Time, you want to click on the track, scroll up to this box here just above Flex, click on it, then scroll back down to your track, and if you click in this off box, you'll get a few choices here. So at a glance, rhythmic you'll want to use for things like drums and other instruments that are percussive in nature, monophonic for solo instruments, and polyphonic for chords or samples that have multiple instruments in them. In this case, we'll choose polyphonic. So immediately my track turns a different color, and that just lets me know that flex mode is active. So if I zoom in on my WAV file here, you'll see these white, kind of opaque vertical lines, and that's where Logic is identifying the transients for us. So it's giving us some indications as to where we can put our markers, or should put our markers. So what are markers? Markers are key points that we can place on this audio file to warp it or flex it. So to place a marker, all you have to do is left click anywhere you want, and bam, it places one for you. So I'm just going to follow Logic's lead here and place it on these transients, and I'll put one on the beginning there, and we'll add one on the end. Now we can begin to flex our loop and get it on beat. And there's two ways we can do this. We can move these individual flex markers, just like this. Kind of line them up with our grid. Or since we've identified all the key transients in this loop and the beginning and end of the loop, we can just make it end on an even bar, and Logic will do the work for us. So if I just drag this over and make sure it ends right at the start of bar 3, I've now taken this and turned it into a 2-bar loop at 75 beats per minute. And you can see the flex markers for these key transients within the loop are now lined up on the grid for me. So let's take a listen. Once you have your sample how you like it, you can start to build your beat around it. So I started to throw in some drums, then I added in some strings, some bass, and some vocal cuts.